What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're diving into DeFi 2.0 being built here on Cardano. I'll be joined by Daniel Simpson from the official Metera Protocol, bringing tokenized indexes into the ecosystem, as well as Sean, the founder and leader of Strike Finance, bringing perpetuals, options, futures, and forwards all into the ecosystem. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring up the two gentlemen. First up and foremost, we've got Daniel. We're 2 for 2, man. Welcome back up. How are you?
Doing great, man. Happy to be back after just one day. I'll try
Yeah,
to keep it short since yesterday we spoke a lot.
no worries, man. It's always a pleasure having you on. Now, let me go ahead and bring up today's second guest. That's Sean from Strike Finance. Welcome up, Sean. How are you?
Good. What's up, Fareed and Daniel? Super happy to be here.
Thank you for making the time. This should be an interesting conversation. First and foremost, we'll dive into introductions. Of course, we'll discuss the both of the protocols you guys are bringing into the ecosystem, and then after that, I want to talk about just the evolution of DeFi. Right. So again, you guys being builders here in the ecosystem, being able to witness the growth and bringing brand new products into the network. I think this offers a brand new sort of opportunity, not just for you guys as builders, but also for the community to get more involved with some of these more nuanced mechanics, right, when it comes to DeFi. So that said, let's maybe kick off with introductions and then we'll dive into the specific protocols. Daniel, we'll start with you. And then Sean, we're coming over to you for a brief intro about yourself and a little bit about Strike Finance.
Awesome. I love it. So my name is Daniel. I'm co-founder and CEO of Metera Protocol. For anyone that is joining and doesn't know what Metera is we're a platform for tokenized indexes. So basically, we offer multi-asset LP tokens so users can diversify their investments in Cardano native tokens. We are one of the projects such as Strike Finance that are trying to bring financial instruments into the chain with the hopes of bringing new liquidity into DeFi and Cardano in general.
Perfect. Short and sweet. The official link to the Metera website has just been left in the live chat there. It's available at meteraprotocol.io. Next, Sean, over to you in Strike Finance.
Yep, this is Sean. I'm the founder of Strike Finance. Strike Finance is a derivative protocol built on top of Cardano. We offer 3 different products: options trading, forward trading, and perpetual futures trading.
That was even faster than I anticipated. I didn't even get time to switch the tab up here. Do you mind breaking down, a little bit about those 3 things? So I know, again, that the indexes, and I've had Daniel here at the channel before, I think it was a little bit more easy to understand. Thinking of, for example, purchasing a basket of assets. But I think that perpetuals, forwards, and options are a little bit trickier. Is there anything that you can share with us a little bit about how those work before we dive into the next topics?
Yes. So an options contract gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell an asset at a predetermined price before a specified date in the future. So, for example, I can buy an options contract that allows me to buy 100 ADA for 50 cents before, let's say, December. And during this time, no matter what the price of ADA is, even it's at $1, $2, $3, if I hold this asset, I can buy ADA at 50 cents. So that's options contract. Forwards contract, it's really similar to options contract. The main difference is a forwards contract, the exchange of asset must happen. So in the previous example, if ADA doesn't go above 50 cents and it will be unprofitable for me to exercise that contract, I simply just don't exercise it. But in the forwards contract, I must exchange the asset no matter what. And finally, for perpetuals, it allows you to speculate on an asset with leverage. So there are 2 positions that you can take: a long position and a short position. When you think an asset will go up in value, you'll take a long position. And when you think an asset will go down in value, and you'll take a short position. And if the market moves in your favor, you'll gain profit. And since you have leverage, you'll amplify your profit and potentially losses too.
Yeah, I think that's really important to mention there. The risk to the upside, but then the risk to the downside there as well. Now, you guys have been building here for a little bit. Do you mind maybe breaking down where you guys currently stand on the roadmap? If I'm not mistaken, you guys have a test net with features already available and a couple that are coming down the pipes. And then Daniel will jump over and discuss the Metera test net and a little bit about the feedback and exactly where things stand on your guys' end as well. So, Sean, feel free to jump in. Any news that you can share with us about the Strike Finance testnet?
Oh yeah. So our forwards and options contract, they're on testnet right now, and our perpetuals, it's coming to testnet soon. Our forwards contract, it's currently under audit by TX Pipe, and we haven't quite announced this information just yet, but I'll announce this here. We are about to start our perpetual contracts audit. I'm preparing the documentation for it to send over to TX Pipe so we can start that process.
Congrats on that. For anybody who wants to actually get access to the testnet, I'll leave the link to it down below. But officially, or by jumping onto the official website, you can click on the beta button, and that'll take you here where you've actually got the option to begin trading options, futures, and as you guys just heard it there, it sounds like perpetuals are just about to drop now from Strike Finance. All right. Thank you for breaking that alpha here. Daniel, can you maybe break down for the viewers here what the Metera testnet is all about, if it's still ongoing, and if not, what comes next? And of course, we'll, I think, have to talk about the mainnet launch there as well.
Yes, for sure. So we are also in a testnet stage. We have been in an open testnet for the past couple of months. We conducted a test and earn program, so we could heavily test our transaction building and our batcher. We work very similar to a DX when it comes to processing orders. So we closed our test and earn program a couple of weeks back. People were able to earn Metera just by completing certain tasks. And we are now waiting for the final details on our audit, which was conducted by Sunday Labs. So we can do a second round of the test and earn program, the incentivized testnet, with the smart contracts that are set to go live on mainnet. We had a very successful testnet. We're thankful for that. We had over 2,600. That's the right way to say. Well, 2,600 wallets, unique wallets participating in the testnet, and over 20,000 transactions processed over the test and earn program. We expect the same turnout for the second round of the test and earn program, and users will be able to claim their earned tokens via the test and earn program once the token goes live on October 11th via AXO.
And this is probably a good time for me to also mention that. So yesterday, Daniel and Yarick, as well as Ali from the official AXO team, joining me here on the channel to break down all the details that we know so far about their upcoming TGE, which will be taking place on the AXO Launchpad. Make sure to go ahead and check that out. And of course, make sure to go ahead and just show support, right, for all the builders who are within the ecosystem. Now, that said, let's maybe just jump back a little bit now that we sort of lay down the foundation here. I want to talk about just the evolution of DeFi on Cardano. You know, I came in a while back when smart contracts were just deploying. I remember back when CNFT.io required, you to like message users back and forth. There were no smart contracts involved throughout the entire process. And then seeing platforms like JPEG.store come about, then seeing the launch of MinSwap, right, where, there was a lot of congestion, but it was like such a euphoric moment for the entire community. Getting the first ever AMM style DEX on Cardano. And then about a year ago, getting the launch of order book style DEXs through, for example, Genius Yield and then AXO. And then now we're just on the verge of what I believe will be DeFi 2.0. So as it stands, we have lending and borrowing, we have synthetics. That was a really great intro, I think, to the first of DeFi for Cardano. But again, now we're on the verge of Metera launching indexes, and then now futures, potential leverage trading, options, and perpetuals coming to the ecosystem. So the floor is open to either one of you, but I'd love to hear, from a builder's perspective, like how does it feel to be at the forefront of such new technology right ahead of potential liquidity coming in with the Bitcoin bull market?
Yeah, if you want, I can start with this one. I think we're in a very unique perspective over at Metera because we have been in Cardano, developing on Cardano for the past 3 years, right? So, as you mentioned, Farid, we started right when there wasn't even smart contracts in Cardano. We got to see the first DX being built, which is one of the blue chip with Sunday. We now have the great opportunity to work alongside them and have that team audit our protocol. And on the other hand, we are able to meet people like Shan, which are such new projects that have been able to accomplish so much so fast, which is kind of inspiring, right? We have gone through the whole arc of developing with stuff that didn't really work 2 years ago, having to throw that out of the window, having to rebuild our architecture. And I think now the current state of the development tooling to develop smart contracts in Cardano is a way easier path
Uh-oh.
and way more.
Sean, are you still with?
Yes. Can you hear me,
Okay,
guys?
I can. I think I had an issue with my internet. That was on my end. Go ahead, Daniel.
All good, all good. So what I was saying is, I think now the path towards go to market for products and projects like Strike Finance or Metera is way easier, and that will definitely benefit DeFi coming up to the bull run, right? At the end of the day, I find a lot of similarities and synergies between Metera and Strike. We, like I mentioned earlier, we're both building tools for investors and for traders in the ecosystem that want to start moving more of the DeFi markets. So definitely this current stage and so many projects launching closer to the bull run is going to be amazing for DeFi in Cardano.
And maybe just to add to what you've mentioned, right? I think you're 100% correct. Building has gotten easier, but you guys are also working with some of the biggest infrastructure providers here and biggest developers, right? So Metera has a partnership and integrations, I believe, with Maestro. You guys also have partnerships with TX Pipe, and then if I'm not mistaken, M Labs as well. So maybe touching on those as well, like how do you guys find the balance between trying to build things on your own versus leveraging what some of these other builders are able to do? And then even thinking further out, there's also now been a lot of hype around Icon. Are those things that you guys are looking into moving forward as things progress and as things mature?
Yes, so you are right. We worked with MLabs in the past, and specifically Ben Hart sits on our board of advisors in the company on the technical side. Um, we were initially working with a lot of Plutus based like Plutarch, and we were using a lot of Haskell to build our smart contracts. One of the things that we were really worried when we were developing with that technology is how we could maintain that over the long term, right? Uh, us as project owners, we wanted to know how we could maintain that code, where that would be the smart contracts of the or the off-chain code with our own internal developers, and using those technologies was really really hard. First, to combine with developers that knew that technology or even understood it to start to learn, and building a team could become really really expensive. That's why we ended up deciding to switching over to Aiken and working alongside TX Pipe. We've been working with them for the last year, and they are such an amazing team. And Aiken is definitely a much simpler coding language, right? It's fairly easier to find developers that can work on this. I had the opportunity to attend a graduation ceremony in Argentina a month and a half ago, where around 20 students got graduated of an Aiken diplomat. So things are moving really, really fast. The difference between the developing ecosystem in Cardano 2 years ago to now is such an amazing progress. So I believe we're very very lucky to have teams like MLabs, TXPipe, Sunday, Maestro, everyone advising Metera how we should be integrating our DeFi solutions so we can give the best user experience and security to our decentralized protocol.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's pivot over to Sean here to also get his perspective. So, Sean, I've had you on the channel for another interview. This was a while back, but like before that, we discussed you working and really being a contributor here in the Cardano ecosystem, if I'm not mistaken, contributing to Snap, Brillia, and a few other platforms. So you've been here from a developer's perspective. How have things evolved, right, as you're now building your own protocol?
Yeah, man. To be completely honest, initially when smart contract was coming online on Cardano, building on Plutus, that was really a pain. It was legit like rocket science, and it's cool that Daniel mentioned Plutarch. I like to describe Plutarch as those symbols you would see in those ancient graveyards in Egypt, just random symbols. And so we're super fortunate that Aiken has come online, and I think Aiken coming online, it's what really pushed a lot of these new protocols coming on Cardano forward. Without them, I don't think we'd be able to see as much projects launching. And so really special to their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they are obviously, I think, picking up steam now. One thing that I definitely would love to see a little bit more of is just backing from the official arms of Cardano for platforms like this, right? I'm a very strong believer in the fact that, like, if we don't have the proper tooling, we won't have an ecosystem to stand on. And so even me as a content creator, I mentioned this to a few other people before, I can only talk about things that have been built. And if we don't have the tooling for builders like you guys to actually build that, I don't have content, right? And so it's a really symbiotic relationship, and it starts from the builders and the tooling, right? From there, you guys are able to actually build protocols. That gives me content, and hopefully I can give you guys value by spreading that here, through the YouTube channel, Twitter, etc. So again, it's really interesting to see how things have really come full circle. Now, let's maybe just shift a little bit and talk about what comes next. So for the Metera team, you guys have already launched the testnet. You've mentioned a second round for test and earn. When can we expect the mainnet launch? And then maybe even just thinking further out than that, when do we potentially see Metera Protocol V2? Looking across the board, we've seen Indigo Protocol V2, MintSwap Protocol V2, Wing Riders Protocol V2. I know it's super early. You guys haven't even gotten to V1 live on the mainnet, but like, what is the future vision for what you guys are building?
For sure. So I tend to be a little bit wary of announcing an official date for mainnet, because arriving to that point is super difficult and a lot of things happen in the middle. But we're targeting in about a month and a half to launch our mainnet after we have concluded the second round of testing and we have everything ready to accommodate mainnet. Funny enough that you mentioned V2, I think, I don't know if this is true for you, Shan, but it's definitely true for me that even we have a good product right now and the results have been shown via the testnet, I'm always thinking what's next for Metera, right? And we have definitely been planning out some new features for V2. I'm not sure when we'll get into developing V2 for Metera, but definitely there's a lot of new features that we want to add specifically for portfolio managers and for our rebalancing mechanisms, which will make our instruments even better. I also wanted to go a little bit back to what we were discussing just right now, because I think the current state of development in Cardano has allowed that project owners like myself, which are not developers as a trade, right? I come from a finance background. I'm not a developer. I have taken up developing over the last few years, but I'm no expert at any means. And when I was trying to manage a project in Plutarch, like Shan said, imagine if he's a developer, I'm not a developer. It was like mind-blowing. I didn't understand what was going on. And that was one of the main issues of why our development didn't work out in the first stage. So now with this tooling, I believe going into a V2 after seeing the results of our initial mainnet will be much easier and much more enjoyable to work towards.
That's really nicely stated. Sean, did you maybe want to add anything to this conversation? Otherwise, we could talk about the future for Strike Finance. And you guys are just on the heels of a massive, massive token launch, which was extremely successful. So I'd love to hear about, what some of those funds are going towards, and then just generally speaking, the direction in which you're taking Strike Finance.
Yeah. The main parts of the funds are going towards developers as well as paying for the audits. Audits are now cheap, and I do want to mention we are trying to keep the team pretty lean until we earn some real revenue. It'll be irresponsible to our supporters to go out there and hire a big team immediately without earning some real revenue first. And so for our future on Strike, with platforms like these, things can always be faster. And so I think having faster transaction, making things scale is definitely on our V2 roadmap. And another thing is really having this platform be accessible to people all around the world. So even though our platform allows for a crypto wallet login, so anyone with a crypto wallet will be able to participate and trade on our platform. A lot of people doesn't have a crypto wallet, and certain locations such as the U.S., they're kind of strict on these things, and we're not too confident that we'd be able to legally offer our products to U.S. citizens and amongst other countries, and they're going to be our main customer base. So really, in the future, after we launch all 3 products to mainnet, I think our focus will be making things faster and making our platform more accessible to people all around the world.
Nice. And I think a part of that is also going multi-chain, right? And I think that's probably another conversation for another day. But so far, we're just focused on Cardano. As far as I know, both of you guys are just building here in the ecosystem. But you take a look at, the evolution of things. Most recently, World Mobile going multi-chain, right? They've now got liquidity pools set up on Base, ETH, BNB. This is exactly what I think the next wave of inclusion and adoption really is gearing towards. And so I'm excited to see what you guys have already built here. I think there's a lot of market share for the taking. I'm personally not aware of any other tokenized index platform that's live right now on the mainnet. There are others actively building, but that are also at the very similar stage within the testnet. Same thing for Sean and Strike. I'm not aware of any options protocol, any perpetuals, or any just leverage trading platform. We've seen proposals coming out from teams, for example, like Dex Hunter, but those haven't actually come to fruition. So I think you guys are both very well positioned to really make an impact here in the ecosystem at such an early stage. Again, really, I think ushering in what I would label in as DeFi 2.0. Now, that said, it seems like you guys are a potential match made in heaven, given the fact that, one platform is dealing with options, futures, and perpetuals, which basically applies to any type of asset or any type of Cardano native token. Now, what's interesting is that Metera, through their portfolios, could also be listed on different platforms. So I'm not going to steal any of your guys' thunder, but I've got a nice little announcement that I want to share here with you guys, and I'll turn it over to either one of you to go ahead and break the news here.
Yes, thanks so much for it. And yes, exactly that. Shan and I met a couple of days ago. I was trying to reach out to Strike. I didn't realize that Shan actually joined Metera's Discord. I was also in Strike Finance's Discord. So we ended up making the match and hopping into a call. And I think, like you said, there's a lot of synergies between Metera and Strike, right? If we think about the instrument that we're building and what it can offer to investors, the next logical step is also adding functionality via something like options, futures, and perpetuals with our index tokens. We had the discussion. I told Shan about our future plans and how we're speaking with hedge funds in the ecosystem. We're trying to accommodate indexes that will perform nice for outside money. And one of the things that they have also been asking is, okay, I can provide liquidity to an index, but what is next? What can I do with that index now? And now adding a new layer of functionality via Strike Finance, accepting our indexes for those type of trading options is going to be amazing. We have had a lot of discussions internally of how second markets for our index tokens could look like. One of the reasons on why we have developed such a strong partnership with Axo is that it seems like our index tokens will perform better in order books. And now adding something like markets, like options, futures, and perpetuals with Strike Finance is just going to make our product way complete and also display all of the functionalities that it can have and benefits to investors. So we are really, really excited to announce this.
Yeah, thank you both for giving me the opportunity to break this news here. Sean, we've definitely got to get your take on this as well. Feel free to jump in.
Yeah, this really brings us back to the flywheel of DeFi 2.0. With Aiken coming out, we probably wouldn't have been able to launch. There probably wouldn't be a Metera coming out like this soon, and so for those who are watching, I really want to emphasize how big indexes are in the traditional market. Indexes, they're almost 11 trillion in asset in value, and that's more than the top 5 stocks combined. And in terms of options trading side, indexes are one of the most commonly traded, if not the most commonly traded assets in traded options. In 2014, I think they've accounted for more than 14% of all options trading volume. That's crazy. And so partnering with Metera is really a no-brainer. Just by looking at the traditional markets. In traditional markets, indexes are the most heavily traded options.
Nice. Yeah, no, again, thank you both for jumping on here, giving me the opportunity to break such big news here. Again, I'm excited, right? And so just looking at how quickly and how much more attention we're getting here within Cardano, it's really lining up, to me at least, that we're going to have a pretty...
Oh, I think we lost you, Farid.
I want to keep this relatively brief. I want to thank the both of you guys here for jumping on. As we get ready to wind out, I want to give you guys both an opportunity to obviously share a little bit more about your platforms, anything that the community may need to know, but then also how anybody listening in right now could join either the Strike Finance community or the Metera Protocol community. And so that said, maybe Sean, we'll let you give us closing thoughts first, and then Daniel will come over to you.
Yes, awesome. So the best way to join us is on our Discord channel. We're super active there. We have a special channel for beta testing. So if you guys really want to support us, please check out our beta that's out right now. Test it out. And if you find any bugs, please report it to the beta testing channel.
Perfect. Over to Daniel.
Well, it's best to reach out to us via Discord. Also, feel free to test out our testnet, test.meteraprotocol.io. I will do a shameless plug of our token sale coming up on October 11th, starting at 3 p.m. UTC. And one last comment is that I think Shani is completely right about the markets of ETFs. And also, if I'm correct, the markets for derivatives is like 2 times bigger than the ETF market, right? So indexes are the most traded assets on derivatives, and the derivatives market in traditional finances is way bigger than the ETFs themselves. So it's just something that makes sense to work together and to bring new investors into Cardano. And thank you so much for the time and highlighting us.
It is a pleasure. For the viewers, if you guys have found any portion of today's video to be helpful, while this was a brief live stream, hopefully it was packed with information for you guys. Again, talking about the evolution of DeFi here in Cardano. Check out the links down below for everything related to Metera. Check out the links down below as well for everything related to Strike Finance. I look forward to catching up with the both of you guys as you guys continue building and as you guys continue to head towards the mainnet launch. That said, that will do it here for today's video. I do want to take an opportunity to thank everybody that's tuned in here. So we've got Cashflow, we've got Rebel Science also tuning in here. We've got JR, who appears to be a fellow builder and developer, right, who also has been feeling some of the building pains, but hopefully I can begin to simplify that process for you. We've got the Ada Boys in the house. We've also got the Doctor from the Cerberus team and a few others. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here and just being here with us to break this awesome announcement. That will do it here for this update. If you found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would appreciate if you could smash that thumbs up. It really also helps to share this content out. If you want more of it, consider subscribing to either the Dapp Center YouTube channel or the Metera channel, depending on where you're watching this from. And last but not least, of course, make sure to give these two gentlemen and their projects a follow. But that said, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below and we will see you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day.